So
speaking of Arsenal, massive bit of transfer news today, out of the blue, really. I have a big opinion on this, but David Raya from Brentford to Arsenal. I have seen a few things since we've been live that his deal to Bayern Munich is now off. He wants to go to Arsenal over Bayern Munich, which I think, look, Arsenal fans will love that. It's a big victory. Like, Bayern Munich are arguably a more famous club, more prestigious club with their Champions Leagues, but Raya wants to stay in England. He wants to play for Arsenal. And in my opinion, they're going to say now it's competition for Ramsdale. For me, he's a better keeper than Ramsdale, especially with his feet. And I think that's an area that Arsenal need to improve on. And I think it shows. And I agree with you, City are the favourites. But this ruthlessness from Arteta, in my opinion, is something that's been missing from Arsenal for 2 decades. Where in years gone by, but Ramsdale's good for us. He's a good character. Oh, Rambo, we love him, or whatever it is they call him. And I think they'd have stuck with him. But I think their manager's seen an opportunity to say, listen, David Raya is better, or potentially better. No matter what he's done in the last 2 years, we can get a better goalkeeper in who makes us a better team. We have to act. That is a kind of ruthlessness. By the way, and Pep is renowned for it. Bought Bravo, didn't work, bang, Edison straight in. If you don't work out for him in a year or two, you get replaced, and you need to be ruthless. And I think it's a worrying sign for rivals of Arsenal if this deal goes through, not just because of the quality of David Raya, but the ruthless nature that is demonstrating that he has in his dressing room.
I think if they have cited Raya as better than Ramsdale, that's not on any fan to decide. That's on Arteta, right? Because I don't think you're going to buy Raya to be your number 2, are you? So if you buy Raya and you put him in as your number 1, what that does show you is about building a squad, about strength in position, strength in depth, which is what Arsenal ultimately fell short of last year, which is what we talked about last year. Very good team, but didn't quite have enough depth. Now, if you've got Raya and Ramsdale as your 2 goalkeepers, if you've got Saliba, Gabriel, Kiwior, and Timber, you've now got, again, forget what fans think of him. If they've signed Havertz because they believe in him or whatever, you've got more options in the front line. You've got Declan Rice, who for me is a massive upgrade on Granit Xhaka. So they are doing the right things, Arsenal. They are. But listen, fair play to them. They're doing everything that I wanted Spurs to do when we got Champions League football so many times. This is what I wanted Spurs to do. Go out, act like a big club, be ruthless, and try and build a squad. Is it enough? Listen, we won't know the answer to that question because there's so many unknowns, Terry. There's so many unknowns. How are Arsenal going to cope with, they had the ability to change their 11, not all 11, but for Europa League. Champions League, that's not going to be the case. You're going to go with your full strength team. So does that impact them? I don't know the answer to that. You don't know the answer to that. It's a wait and see. Are they going to go hell for leather in the cups, or are they going to forget that and go all out for a title chase? Can Arteta rotate? That's a big part of this as well. Pep Guardiola, over the years, Mourinho did it for years. Pep did it. Klopp did it. These people show they know who to rotate, when to rotate, and why. Can Arteta do that? We'll find out this year. So I'm not knocking them at all. I think they're making some really good strides, but the proof is in the pudding. Everyone's heard the saying, the proof of the eating is in the pudding. Let's see what they do. So, look, I think they'll definitely be in the top 4. Can they win the league? I still think something's lacking. I don't know what it is. I think something is lacking for them. I don't know. Is it the manager? Is it that know-how to get over the line?
I think it's, when you say the manager, do you mean just in terms of he just doesn't have the years of experience, and it's almost until he wins it, he's not going to, or not even wins it, but just maybe a few more. Maybe it's going to be a few more seasons of experience until he's ready to. Is that what I get where you're coming from.
Possibly. Look, I'll ask you this question again. I'm just posing questions. I'm not saying this verbatim, right? Before people go mad in the chat. If you gave Arsenal this Arsenal squad to Pep, I think they'd have more chance of winning it because Pep Guardiola is a master at what he does. Pep Guardiola goes into games sometimes and you go, oh my God, why is he not playing insert any player you want, right? Well, why is Diaz not playing today? Why is De Bruyne not playing today? But he knows how to get it right. He knows as well when his club are going through a lull, he knows how to mix it up. Now, you can't buy that. That is experience. So lots of people saying to me now, like me and Henry Wright always have this conversation. He's like, Arteta's got to win it this year. He spent 700 million. I said, but he's still not as good. They're still not as good as City. They can spend 700 million. You can spend $1 billion. If you are not better than the team in front of you, can you really say that manager should be sacked for not winning a title? I'm not sure you can.
It's no, I get where you're coming from. It's like people keep saying United have got to win the league, but you've also said Arsenal have got to win the league. What should happen if they don't? Again, you have to contextualize these things. I look at it this way: if you people in the comments are saying that it doesn't make Ramsdale rubbish because they're signing Raya, no one's saying Ramsdale's rubbish, but it's about improvements. I don't think Rashford's rubbish, but if we could sign Mbappe or Vinicius Junior to play on the left, I would do it. I do think Raya is better than Ramsdale, but me saying he's better doesn't mean Ramsdale is rubbish. It's just an improvement in particular areas.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things for Arsenal, I've said this on a few streams, I'd love to get your take on this. It's about the manager, and this would show me he's learning. He signed 3 new outfield players thus far. He shouldn't feel forced or pressured into starting them straight away if they're not ready. So say Kai Havertz is still a little low on confidence and isn't quite ready to start. Don't be like, I've got to start him. I spent £60 million. Say Declan Rice is just a little off the pace. I've got to start him. He cost $100 million. Because that isn't what the great managers and title-winning managers do. They mix it up. They change things. They bleed people in slowly. It's almost, sometimes you've got to listen to fans and you should listen to people around you. There are other times where you've got to be very autocratic as a leader and say, I know what's right and I'm going to make this decision. And that's going to be very intriguing.
And that's not always popular, is it? That's not always popular with the fans. Yeah.
Because we all like it. Like I do in my head, I very rarely tweet about it because I just don't think it's something the world need to know about. But if we could have a League Cup game, I'm like, I really hope this kid starts. I really hope this player, and they're not even on the bench. It makes me angry. But that's just, and then when I deep it, it's like, I'm not angry because I think we needed to do it. I'm angry because I wanted it. Does that make sense? I'm like my son always wants more sweets. At some point, I'll say no, and he gets angry about it because he's 3 years old. You never really grow out of that. You just learn to control it. And sometimes as fans, there's an element of, but it's what I want. And we all want our new signings to start because we want them all to deliver so that nobody can give us any banter for them. But sometimes they do need to be bled in slowly, and you can get it wrong sometimes. You know, you throw them into
Pep's brilliant at, right? That's what he's brilliant at.
Klopp is the same, both of them.
Look, I just feel look, I get it, right? There's so much tribalism in football. There's so much bias in football. I get it. It's great and it's good banter, but I take so much of it with a pinch of salt. I see, like, if I read so many comments, not in your chat, in any YouTube chat I'm in, you can tell who's mature and who's not. You can tell the stupid responses, like anyone your rival buys is rubbish. They're rubbish, right? I can guarantee you, half these clubs, half these fans saying to you, oh, Højlund, he's rubbish, bro. If their club had signed him, it would be, this kid's generational. This kid's generational. You watch him. When another club signs him, it's, this boy's a waster, as though everyone is a top scout on footballers. Like, it's football always be the same, right? We all want the players we want to start. YouTubers, we go out there, right? We put our neck on the line. We put our face to our opinion daily, right? So it allows people to come back and say, blah, blah, blah. If you believed everything you read from every football fan, nothing would ever get done. Like nothing, I see Spurs fans right now going like, oh my God, we're going to get relegated if Harry Kane leaves. I see other fans going, we're going to be a better team when Harry Kane leaves. How can you have such wildly different opinions? Like it's absolutely crazy. But look, I'll always be a little less biased than a lot of fans. I think I've learned growing up I join in with it and what they're not.
I join in with it sometimes, and other times I don't. I saw City lost today. I'm not going to banter them because I don't think losing in pre-season. There are some times with the way Chelsea got beat by Arsenal last season. It was so foreshadowing for the season that it needed to be spoken about. City losing 2-1 today for me, it means nothing to me because I know how good they're going to be. So I'm not going to banter it, and it's a waste of my time. Someone here says autocratic. Yeah, autocratic basically means not taking into account other people's kind of wishes or opinions. Fairly tyrannical. And as a leader of a football team or a business, or even as the head of your family, sometimes you have to be, it can't always be a democracy. Sometimes you have to say, no, I'm putting my foot down with a firm hand and we're doing something. So yeah, you need that in leadership at times.
Yeah, of course
This
you
year
do.
says everyone's saying Ramsdale should be England's number one, good on the ball and distribution. Now everyone has done a 360 because of a couple of preseason games. Look, I can't speak for those people, bro. I can only speak for my opinions. I think Ramsdale's good. I think Ramsdale's very good.
Yeah, I think he's a good keeper.
David Raya is better. And he may, listen, if he's starting, I don't think you'll spend £40 million on David Raya for him to sit on your bench. I think he'll come in and, listen, he may do if Ramsdale goes up another level and then it's win-win for you. I'm just giving you my opinion. I think both are very good goalkeepers. If I was to pick to sign one of the two, I would go for David Raya over Ramsdale, although I think he's very good, my friend. So neither me or Sav are saying that he's rubbish.
Do you know what it doesn't need to be in football? Sometimes whenever we're talking about two players, people always want to make one brilliant, one awful. It doesn't always have to be that. They can both be good players, right? I suppose all this matters. The only person it matters, right? It doesn't matter what any YouTuber says. It doesn't matter what any Arsenal fan says. The only person that decision matters to is Mikel Arteta. That is the only person whose opinion matters on who is better between Raya and Ramsdale. So I think if you've got both of them, first of all, again, how's he keeping both happy? There's a question. How do you keep both happy?
I don't think you can for more than one season.
Right, I agree. So again, but these are the things. This is what the experienced managers they've got. They've got their experience. That's why they know how to keep people happy. How did Pep keep so many players happy that get rotated in that Man City team, where in any other club they're playing every single minute of every single game? That's an art form. Yeah. Mourinho was great at it. Ancelotti's great at it. You name it. Klopp, Fergie, the top managers, they know how to do.
One of the stories I read, because I haven't read many books about other clubs. I read one about, I can't remember what Man United player it was about. I think it was Rooney. I think it was Rooney's book. And he said Fergie had this great way of dropping people. He wouldn't say you dropped. He would be saying something like, right, you're not starting the next game or the next two games. And it would be because that's because we've got the FA Cup game in 10 days. And I've got a plan for you on that day. I need you fresh and ready for it.
Yeah.
So he was dropping them for being poor, but he made them feel like he was doing it for the team in the future. And Rooney was he was brilliant at doing that. And it kept everybody motivated. And the best managers are.